Genshin Impact is a game where you can do many things, but one thing you always want to do is damage. But what if your characters aren't able to fight anymore? And the only way they can deal damage is to rely on their summon companions. So I started a new account to see how much of the game can be completed if you can only use summon abilities. Welcome to the Summon Only Challenge.
So, what you're trying to say is...
Skip.
Who are you? The system of mankind ends now.
First, we start as anyone does, with the difficult choice of male ether or female ether. This time I'll go with female ether.
You're going to Brazil!
If you haven't noticed already, I'll be using skin mods during this playthrough to give a breath of new air to the same cutscenes we are already used to see. But Mihoyo doesn't like it too much. For that reason, I will be keeping my UID hidden.
Bruh.
So let's go to the rules of this challenge. 1. I can only use abilities that have a summon of some kind. If you're wondering what is considered a summon ability and what is not, I'll be basing it on this list. But if you feel like some ability should or should not be allowed, feel free to tell me in the comments. 2. Glitches and bugs are allowed, as I'll end up needing to use some sooner or later. 3. If I use an ability that is not a summon, accidentally or not, I have to do a single pull on the weapon banner on my main account at the start of the next episode. 4. This account is free to play, not just because it would make the challenge too easy, but also because I have no money to whale. 5. Co-op is banned, as it would make exploration too easy. I can however still use co-op for domain and leyline farming, but the co-op partners will be subject to the same rules as me. 6. Using pseudo-summons is allowed for puzzles if I don't have an actual summon character, but non-summon abilities are still banned, with the exception of forced trials. 7. The goal is just to complete as much in-game content as possible, meaning it doesn't end with story or spiral abyss. You're probably wondering now, why did I sidetrack and avoided Paimon tutorial? Well, that's because I have something to do before starting this challenge for real. The challenge will start once I obtain the powers of Anemo, but there is one problem. By my current rule set, I cannot use the Anemo Traveler. So what I will do is unlock Dendro before Anemo, as Dendro Traveler does have one summon ability. There is only one small problem though.
How about we explore the area ahead of us later?
Luckily, I know how to bypass the Paimon barrier. And trough the use of a glitch, I can temporarily move out of bounds, allowing me to slowly make my way to Sumeru to unlock the Statue of the Seven. That way, I'll be able to immediately switch to Dendro once I finish the Anemo tutorial. Despite not being able to use the Dendro burst right away, I will be able to slowly build up my energy once I obtain Amber, and trust me, the Dendro burst will be needed for passing domains that can't be completed with Baron Bunny alone. So now enjoy a time lapse of me going to Sumeru. Now, with that we have access to Dendro once we unlock elements. So as Paimon says, let's take the intended route. Even after so much time, this cutscene still looks very beautiful. So, during this tutorial, it's impossible to leave and get Dendro. And also, even if we got Dendro here, the tutorial checks for specifically the idea of the Anemo skills, and not having Anemo Traveler here results in a soft lock. For that reason, this tutorial is an exception to the only summon rule, as it can't be bypassed via legit methods.
Windblade!
But now that this tutorial is finished, I'll not waste time and already swap to Dendro, as I want to start getting the burst charged as soon as possible. Anyways, back to Mondstadt. Let's follow the story normally now. Now we finally unlocked our first damage source, Baron Bunny. He will be our most reliable attack until we get something better. But first, I have to do this archery tutorial. I know for a fact it can be glitched, allowing you to use other abilities while at it, but I failed miserably trying to bug it, and got Paimon stuck in my face. So since I know it could have been avoided, this shot will be counted towards the punishment wishes. Now, I can clear this Hilichurl camp right away, but with my current damage it would take a while. So I'll first head to the city and get some gear, that way I can just one-shot all the enemies and not take ages to clear the camp. With that, Amber can now quickly clear the Hilichurl camp. Now we can officially arrive at the city. And so does the dragon. After the Toho segment, we meet none other than Balls, and he asks us to visit the Knights of Favonia's headquarters. After arriving there, we finally unlock one of the features of all time, gambling. So for our banners, I will be doing the beginner wishes because 1. They are cheaper. 2. There is a higher chance of getting Fischl. If I get Fischl here, I don't need to pull on Novelet's banner, so I can save for another unit we might want in the future. So let's pray for the best.
What the hell? Oh my god!
Bro, ain't no way, I actually got Fischl. I am very happy, but at the same time sad, because all the work I did to unlock Dendro Traveler was for nothing. Well, at least this will make my early game extremely easier. After some hearing, I can now go for the trial domains. I'll start with Amber's because it's the closest. So for Amber domain, the only notable obstacle is the vines. But since we can use Baron Bunny, they are very easy to go through. The fights are also very easy, as this is the first domain, the enemies are not very strong. Or maybe I am too over-leveled. Either way, after killing all the enemies, I use Baron Bunny to light the Pyro Pillar, and then break the Anemo egg, completing the domain. Second on the list is Lisa's domain. While going in its direction, I also collected some Animoculi, to have a little extra stamina. Arriving at the domain, we now have a full party, because Lisa is also a summoner. For Lisa's domain, I will not be doing the wind current skip, since my goal is to complete as much content as possible. That includes collecting the domain chests. This Pyro Slime would have been a pain to pass, but with Fischl it's no problem at all. Same for this Electro Monument. If I didn't have Fischl, I would have needed to charge my energy with Baron Bunny, kill the slime with Dendro Traveler Burst, then use Lisa's Burst for the monument, and the last wave of slimes. Needless to say, it would have taken quite a while. For the last rooms though, there is no problem in going through, as there is only some weak enemies with no immunities to kill. After clearing them, I break the Anemo egg with Oz, completing the domain. At last we have Balls. Same as Lisa, while going to it, I clear some chests along the way, and also fail miserably at completing this slime puzzle. Arriving there, we get Trial Balls, the first character we cannot use on this account. So for that domain, I cannot use any of his skills. Luckily, that is not a problem, as using balls is not needed to complete his domain. The domain was just some pretty easy fights, and the most notable obstacle was the water jump. I failed a couple times because I'm used to pass it with ether, but even that is not hard at all. After that, I break the Anemo egg with Oz, clearing the domain. And we get to watch the encounter of Dilk and Balls. And here the funny Dilk line number 1.
Knights of Favonius, always so inefficient.
With that, the Act 1 of Mondstadt Archon quest is completed. And now to continue with the story, we need to reach Adventure Rank 10. So for that, we will be doing some side quests. I'll start with some quick world quests, the first one being Cyrus's quest. On the way I unlock the Adventure Handbook, allowing me to reach AR8 and collect some handful rewards. So for Cyrus' quest, we were asked to clear some Hilichurl camps. The combat was very simple with Fischl and Amber, and I was able to clear them with no problems. Here's a quick montage of how it went. After completing this quest, we reach Adventure Rank 9. One more AR to go. So now we start Ball's story quest. Ball's story quest is very simple. Just talk with a few NPC and solve some puzzles. The only puzzle which was a bit harder was the Cryo Monument, because as of now, we don't have any Cryo character. But luckily Superconduct hits can activate those monuments, so I was able to complete the puzzle by using Fischl. Now we head to Ball's second domain. For this domain, there wasn't any noble puzzle, just a few combats and a ruined guard fight at the end. As usual, enjoy a quick montage of me clearing this domain. With Ball story quest completed, we still need a few more EXP to reach AR10. So now we start Amber story quest. The start of the quest was very simple. Just walk around and do some gliding puzzles. After doing the second gliding puzzle, I reach AR10. But since we already started her story quest, let's go until the end. But before that, let's see what we get from the 10 pull we received for reaching AR10. Arriving at her domain, here is where the challenge really starts, as there is some enemies that the game wants you to use a bowl to kill, but we aren't allowed to use a bowl. The first Hilichurl was not a problem though, because I can easily spawn Oz on the platform. But on the second combat, it was not that easy. On this fight, I had to carefully aim my skills so I could hit the Hilichurls on top of the platforms, but after figuring the correct positions, the fight was not hard at all. After that, we just have to fight Raptor, which I could easily take care of, completing the domain. Now that we have completed all side quests, we can follow the main story. But I decided to spend my resin and do some hearing before, because I thought there would be shielded Fatui on Dilt domain. So let's quickly speed through it. After that, we see Jean talking with a Fatui, but we are quickly distracted by Vinny and decide to chase him. After some talking, and also fighting an Eye of the Storm. Vinny convinces us to steal the Holy Lyre from the cathedral. The stealth mission was just like any other account, as it has no combat or puzzle. After collecting all chests, we go steal the lyre, but we get robbed in the middle of our robbery attempt. And now we have to flee from the knights. We decide to hide on Dilk's tavern, and we get to hear the funny Dilk line number 2.
The Knights of Favonius. Weak and conservative.
After that, he calls Jean, and we decide to steal the Holy Lyre. Again. So let's go for Dilk Domain. Dilk Domain is composed of only battles with some strong enemies. But remember the gearing I did earlier? In the end, there was no shielded Fatui, so the gearing only made clearing this domain faster in the end. After killing the Pyro agent, we recover the Holy Lyre, but the lyre has no power, so we have to go around Mondstadt collecting Valen's tears.
What do you mean?
So, for the first 2 tiers, I just have to collect some precious chests. The first one being guarded by a ruined guard, and the second one inside one of the Dapa Gorge Hilichral camps. I also tried to do the Sword Graveyard chest, but we need a cryo character to be able to complete it. So I just went to the tier domain and defeated the Eye of the Storm guarding the entrance. So let's see how it went. So, for the tier domain, we only had to fight a bunch of mobs. The battles were pretty easy, so let's just speed through it. After defeating the Abyss Mage, we collect the last tear. And we get to hear the funny Dilk line number 3.
If I were to choose between eating a cryo slime alive or joining the Fatui, I'd prefer to be crushed to death by a meteorite.
Jeez, your wording is so very dramatic.
Then, we head to Star Snatch Cliff and finish Act 2.
What has been undone cannot done be done. Cannot done undone.
Then why do I see sadness in your eyes?
Your Highness, you have to end the video now.
Oh right, I almost forgot. So, this marks the end of our first episode. If you like this series idea, or have any suggestion, leave it in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.